Good evening. Today I'm going to run through about our project Medical AI Assistant in short for the next 15 minutes or so. In short, the idea of this project is to how to leverage the Gen AI as an agent or an assistant in the field of healthcare, especially that would help the healthcare professionals like doctors or nurses or any other similar profiles. So, what is the main problem statement we are trying to address here is that in a practical scenario where we have a small clinic in a remote places with a limited doctors or an healthcare professionals, ideally most of the time has been spent in interacting with the patient to collect their information. So, when I say information, it could be a symptoms and whatnot, so that would help the doctors to come up with a diagnosis report and further medical plans. So here's where the AI assistant going to play a role so that it can reduce that time so that it can behave as a doctor or a kind of an agent so that it can collect all those informations and come up with some kind of a preliminary analysis report and send it back to the doctor's workflow so that it expedites the entire process. So also the idea is like the AI should assist the doctor directly in generating the differential diagnosis report to have a better outcome. So this entire application has two flows. One is a user journey and then doctor journey. So user journey as a name states like a patient comes and logs into the website, he accepts the disclaimers, and then he starts interacting with the AI assistant. So when I say interact, they can basically chat, and they can basically talk, and then they can basically even share their images, whatever they have got. So ideally, what happens in the real world situation when you go and then say your symptoms, doctor naturally asks for the further follow-up questions and collects as much as detail possible before coming up with analysis. So that's what the exactly our AI assistant is going to do. And instead of giving an answer immediately, it thinks and then acts basically as an agent and then collects all the information. So it's smartly also decides, okay, if this guy is having an emergency condition, then no point in basically engaging the conversation and routing to the medical emergency route. Else not, if it's going to be very trivial and the minimal, then it suggests the home remedies and then over-the-counter medicines. Then most of the cases, it prefers to meet the doctor and then helps the patient to book an appointment. So with this, right, this pre-analysis report will be generated and stored in the workflow. Then next comes the doctor journey, where the doctor logs in and he will be shown with the dashboard of all those patients in the queue, what is being treated, and then who is being treated, and then what are the current status and insights, etc., etc. Then ideally, like once he goes for the new diagnosis panel, then comes the part of an AI here, like whatever the preliminary analysis report in the real world should basically pop up there, and then it facilitates the doctors to come up with a diagnosis quicker. Then, as normal, like doctor asks few more questions if any, and then click something called and get diagnosis, differential diagnosis report. So this is where we have done some kind of an actual land graph based agentic RAG so that it, it refers to the actual medical terms and then come up with an actual differential diagnosis report using clinical terms the doctor can understand so that they can come up with the treatment plans as quick as possible. So with this as enough context, let me quickly jump into the demo. Yeah, that will be much easier to understand, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is the live application. So basically deployed in the domain content4.xyz, which is my personal domain. So basically can be accessed by anybody. So let's start with the patient journey here. So where a patient comes. So ideas like you would have signed up already, and then you come in here and then you start consulting, you will see something like this. So for the very first time, right, ideally it should be something like this. So they come back here and then they will see a disclaimer button where they read through the terms and conditions and they understand accept. Then like this is where the agent is going to play a role. It looks like a chatbot, but it's not a chatbot actually speaking. So it asks you for basic information. So let's kind of clear the memories because this allows us to clear the memory behind the scene. So this entire framework is built using a LangGraph workflow with the memory checkpoints and all those features that is available in the LangGraph ecosystem. So now let's say I'm going to say like, hey, doctor, I got an severe fever along with cold and cough, right? So you just start the conversation and like what happens is now the agent analyzes it and he asks you for a further questions, right? So just like how the real doctor would do. Then you just say like you can start typing the answers here, but the good part is like we have an voice over feature where you can directly talk to that now. So I'm going to talk now. Let's say like the symptoms started 2 weeks before, and I would say the fever is around 38 degrees Celsius, and it's basically a dry mild cough, and I don't have any other symptoms nor any medical history. So now all I did is basically talk to this as if I would talk to a real doctor, right? So now we've got all the informations basically, like you see, like collected all the informations. It is making a thought, actions, and then what kind of response it has to give. And basically, like it asks for a few more left out informations, right? So probably here again, like you can make them to talk also, like just clicking this button, automatically going to talk back now, which you can listen now.
Thank you for the information. To better understand your condition, could you please clarify? 1. Have you taken any medications for your symptoms? If so, which ones? 2. Do you have any known allergies? 3. How would you rate this?
So now basically this allows us the user to listen to what the AI is basically going to come up, so that when you enable this both, it's going to be a duplex conversation as if you would be talking, right? So then I'm just going to simply type here saying like no medications, no allergies, and mild fever, right? So ideally we don't, it's okay to basically give a partial informations because we have a complex memory management system that handles all this memory efficiently. Now it collected all the information, it gives you something within and kind of appointment recommendations, right? So now you can just say like what is your preferred appointment times and stuff. So like tomorrow noon time, my email id is like mail2gmail.com, and then general gp should be suffice, right? So you just provide, and then it looks for the thing, and then it creates an ideally an appointment for tomorrow and sends an email basically, right? So it gives some kind of an initial analysis here which you can basically copy, right? So then in real world situation, right, ideas like this will go to the database and get collected. And second stuff is like, yeah, and probably I'll just clear this off and also show, or like in addition to this, if user wants to update anything on the image, you can directly do so, right? Let's say the patient has also got a mouth ulcer, right? So he just updates it here. Now it does the analysis of this thing and then comes up with then some more detailed information, right? So what could be the stuff around this, right? So it gives some kind of an assessment or recommendations to visit the GP and all those things. So then ideally I just copy this for now, right? And then I'm going to log out of this user journey, and then like let me enter into the doctor journey, right? So now doctor basically logs in, and then you should be able to see a dashboard, right? Where in real world should be really showing all those consultations he had so far, what is the progress of the patients and what are the patients he visited, and then all those insights. So then here's where the actual diagnosis panel comes into picture. And in real world, right, we should be having an integrated database so that you give the patient ID, and then whatever the analysis report we got in the patient flow should ideally come here, right? Then here. Then doctor basically goes to this, it's easy for him to do the analysis and then collects the basic vitals, and then say like, then he asks for more specific questions, and then if anything he gets more on that, he also adds up here. Let's say like also got sneeze. Then once this is done, it's pretty quick, and then now he gets some differential diagnosis. So this is where the AI is going to play a more important role. So where it's going to look for medical terms and references what we have provided to it, and comes up with a detailed diagnosis report. So we have done a very elaborative prompt engineering on the part, so that it comes up with something in a real diagnosis report that captures everything, and then key findings, and especially the actual clinical terms, the talks that the doctors can basically understand what could be the possible issues with all the symptoms and mouth ulcers coming into picture, right? Then it suggests the treatment plans and clinical notes, and finally the doctor or whoever is basically should be able to download these reports here, and then like should be able to see here, right? So this is the nutshell of the project what we have done, and then yeah, thanks for that. So this is live here, and then feel free to try out, right, in case you need, and probably I will share a credential shortly as a separate one. Thank you.